resilient community. It always has been. This is a resilient school.
Waldron schools canceled classes today after powerful storms damaged several buildings on campus. The latest ahead.
And we have that freeze warning across northwest Arkansas. Parts of the river valley just holding just above that freezing point in some places, but it's still chilly out there. We'll talk about it coming up.
Plus, President Trump says that he is not backing off tariffs set to impact dozens of nations. This as the European Union is proposing extra tariffs on U.S. products.
Taking a live look in Bentonville, check out this sunrise. Beautiful at 6:30 on this Monday. 5 News This Morning is now.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Well, good morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us. We hope you had a great weekend, and it looks like we got some good news for you today because all of that weather. What?
I just said man.
Oh.
It was tough, but
He's
that
got it.
sunrise, I feel like is setting us up for a good week,
We're going to see lots more of that.
It is so nice to start off this week and look at the rest of the week of sunshine, 60s and 70s.
You need a vacation.
After last week. All of you need a vacation because it was a mess last week. Lots of rain, thunderstorms, flooding. This week, we get to relax. You don't have to worry about the forecast.
Love that.
60s, 70s, just a bit chilly out there to start off your mornings for today and tomorrow. Have that freeze warning out across northwest Arkansas and across the river valley as well. If there's anybody who's worried about the forecast, it's the folks who have already planted. Now, some good news out there right now. You're waking up, grabbing the coffee, saying, I'm one of those people who's already planted. So far, across most of northwest Arkansas and all the river valley, we're actually holding just above that freezing point. Some places in northwest Arkansas, though, getting very close to that freezing point. 34 there in Bentonville, 33 in Fayetteville. Across the river valley, though, hanging on, though, into those mid to upper 30s, low 40s out there this morning. Rogers, though, and Salem Springs, the only places right now that are just dropping below that freezing point. 30 there in Rogers, 32 in Salem Springs. A bit chilly out there this morning. 39 in Alma and 41 in Charleston. Need that light jacket as you head out the door. The rest of the day, though, not too bad. Sunshine, daytime highs into those low 60s across the river valley this afternoon into the evening hours, those mid to upper 60s. Tomorrow will be about 10 degrees warmer once we get into the afternoon and hang on to lots of that sunshine. We've been hearing it over the past couple of weeks as well, not just the rain chances that everybody's sick of, but also allergy season getting back in as well. That tree pollen high right now. We'll get that update for you by the time we get to the end of the week of what it's looking like. I imagine it's going to increase. Let's take a look at traffic out there this morning. Here's a live look out across the I-540 bridge, crossing over over the Arkansas River. Good morning to you there. No accidents, no slowdowns for you this morning. Should be a nice commute.
All right, thanks so much for that. Well, this morning, taking a look at flood damage to schools there in Waldron, the district, as we mentioned, canceled classes for today after widespread damage, which happened to the middle and elementary school buildings over the weekend.
Hail ended up being so big and so much of it so fast that it penetrated areas of the roof, which caused the water to get into the second layer. Right. And once it gets in there, it just kind of goes where it wants. Well, it just happened to go in several places.
Well, school leaders say they'll communicate with parents and students regarding the rest of the week and any makeup plans for the day.
Well, staying in Waldron, the weekend storms also caused damage to a police cruiser. This photo shows multiple ball-like dents in the cruiser's windshield. Just take a look at that. The severe weather also left hail and water damage across other parts of Arkansas.
Meanwhile, President Trump has approved Governor Sanders' request for federal assistance after all the rain and storms this past week.
That approval now frees up funds for debris removal and emergency protective measures. The governor says multiple rivers across the state had already been impacted by all the rain, and that even more rain will prolong major flooding and will add additional pressure to river levees. The governor adds that emergency personnel are also working around the clock in hopes to maintain safety. Meanwhile, some Arkansas farmers are dealing with the aftermath of the flooding. One man says he went to check his operation north of Conway over the weekend.
It was a solid lake from one end to the other, but we'd moved equipment to higher ground and hadn't planted a crop out there yet, so we're still in the game.
He is now waiting for these floodwaters to die down. He says he plans to check the forecast to see if there will be a good time to plant before that mid-April sweet spot.
Well, new developments this morning in a high-profile case out of Benton County.
Amber Waterman, who's already serving a life sentence for killing a pregnant woman, is back in court today.
5 News reporter Morgan Wrigley live outside the courthouse with the latest. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning, Joe and Tiffany. Despite Amber Waterman's team's request to delay today's proceedings, prosecutors tell 5 News that she is still expected to appear in court in Benton County this morning, and those court documents say it's to discuss the status of this case. Now, you'll remember that Waterman was convicted in federal court last year for the 2022 murder of Ashley Bush, a 31-week pregnant mother from Arkansas. Investigators say Waterman lured Bush in with a fake job offer, then killed her and tried to take her baby. The unborn child also died. She's now serving a federal life sentence, but the state case is still moving forward. Prosecutors in Benton County want to try her again, seeking the death penalty. Waterman's defense team argues that that would be double jeopardy, saying that she shouldn't be tried twice for the same crime. The Arkansas Supreme Court will now decide, and oral arguments for that are set to start on April 24th. In the meantime, Waterman's team did ask the judge to delay today's hearing until the summer. But again, 5 News has talked to prosecutors who confirmed that it is still happening this morning. Court is set to begin here at 8 o'clock. 5 News will be in the courtroom, and we'll keep you updated on what's said today. For now, we're live in Bentonville, covering news where you live. Morgan Wrigley, 5 News.
Well, developing this morning, police are investigating a suspicious death in Van Buren. Sunday morning, police responded to the scene on South 40th Street. Police haven't released any more information as of this hour, but say that they are still working the case. I'll bring you those updates right here on 5 News. Well, lawmakers are set to discuss a bill to fund the Franklin County Prison Project again this afternoon. Lawmakers voted not to pass the appropriations bill 3 times last week. Today's meeting in the Senate chamber will take place at 1 p.m. Meanwhile, the Chickamauga Nation says that the site of the future prison is a sacred burial ground. The nation plans to hold a press conference today in Charleston to speak about their findings on the site. We'll have the latest later today here at 5 News.
Well, pharmacy benefit managers have been a heated point of discussion among state leaders and lawmakers for years. Now, a proposed bill in Little Rock is targeting those companies. If approved, this House bill would prohibit PBMs from obtaining a pharmacy license in Arkansas. That would stop them from being a price setter and price owner. However, the chief pharmacy officer of CVS Health says unintended consequences would come with the change.
Hurts your economy. We're going to have 600 individuals lose their jobs. It's going to cost Arkansas employers more than $6.6 million in increased healthcare costs.
Meanwhile, supporters of the bill say it will create a fair system.
Because the conflict of interest that has grown from the fox guarding the hen house, where the company that sets the price of the medicine decides what pharmacy can be used, is also owning pharmacies and setting prices and terms that are more favorable to themselves at higher prices.
Well, the bill is expected to go before the full Senate soon.
Well, this morning, President Trump is not backing down on sweeping tariffs as international markets plunge and American stocks continue to slide in reaction to the new taxes. Amy Ruckham tells us what to expect from Washington this week.
American and international markets have tanked in reaction to President Donald Trump's impending tariffs on dozens of nations around the world. And from Air Force One Sunday, the president said he's not backing off.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
The president's aides are working to calm fears, saying more than 50 nations have reached out about negotiating to lift the tariffs.
We're going to become a wealthy nation again, wealthy like never before.
The European Union is now proposing a list of U.S. goods to hit with extra tariffs, which could send prices soaring for products like fast fashion, electronics, cheese, and champagne.
The costs of doing business with the United States will drastically increase. And what is more, there seems to be no order in the disorder.
Amid the uncertainty, Democrats say they have several Republicans and company CEOs on board to limit the president's power on tariffs.
I think we're hearing from a big segment of the economy that consumer spending is a big part of GDP, and they're worried.
Over the weekend, thousands of demonstrators in all 50 states voiced their anger at the current administration. Still, the Commerce Secretary says the tariffs will stay in place, adding the president plans to reset global trade. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Well, developing this morning, a second child with measles has died in Texas. This among hundreds of cases of the infectious disease in recent weeks. In February, an unvaccinated child died of measles in Lubbock, Texas, the first death from the disease in a decade. Then in early March, an adult in New Mexico became the second measles-related death. Now the West Texas outbreak is believed to have spread to several states, with the latest CDC update saying there have been over 600 confirmed cases this year in at least 21 states. The developments over the weekend prompted U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to visit West Texas.
And the problem with the measles vaccine is that it's a leaky vaccine. It doesn't provide sterilizing immunity, which means that for a large percentage of the people who get that vaccine, it will wane in old age.
Well, there have also been reported cases in Canada and Mexico.